I'll now be discussing the commercial viability of our solution. We found on average that we were able to generate $135 worth of quarterly profit through our trading strategy. However, to build out this strategy, the majority of the costs came through the battery, that $13,000 figure you see in front of you. Even under the Victorian Solar Loan Program, where $8,800 was covered over a 4-year time period as an interest-free loan, we still found the net present value of this opportunity to minus $1,000, therefore not commercially viable to scale. However, what we didn't take into account in our model was the 2030 net carbon zero goals of Australian business, where emissions would need to be offset through carbon credits or other forms to reduce their carbon emissions to zero. What that means is the cost gets passed on to the consumer in that energy market, and hence energy costs more. Therefore, renewable solutions such as solar energy may become more profitable in future, hence bringing our net present value into a positive direction.
If implemented at scale, can our solution provide socially positive outcomes for Australians? Yes, we do believe that our solution can provide tangible positive benefits for Australians for the reasons that it can reduce carbon emissions and also reduce the price of energy in the long term. And the reason for this is that the Australian market is very inefficient. And as demand scales, the source of energy actually changes. Now, renewable energy is extremely cheap, but it's only able to supply a small amount of the energy that Australians and the country needs. And as you can see on the chart, as the source of energy changes, the price increases significantly. Our trading strategy optimizes the profit generated via renewable solar energy in Australian households. This incentivizes Australians to switch to solar energy, and this will also reduce our carbon emissions as a country and reduce the price of electricity in the long term.
Talking briefly about our model architecture, below me you can see our pre-processing process. What we did here was not only normalize data features, but add new data features, including spike indicators based on quantiles of pricing range and time indicators based on time of day and also day of the week to get more data to train our model on. On our side here, we can see our model architecture was an RNN that had a hold gate for longer term context dependent windows and used a window for a slider window of our data input there. And the beta was used to make sure that our battery always had capacity to exploit maximum profit.
Let me restate what we are trying to achieve here. We are not only designing a system that sort of maximizes profits, but we want to reserve battery charge to contribute to a more stable energy supply. Now, what can happen? In the demand for electricity, where it can exceed the supply capacity of the grid, it puts a lot of significant stress on the infrastructure, such as transformers and lines, as we can see in the picture, which can lead to failures and complete blackouts. As such, if we can preserve some battery charge to be discharged during these peak times, we can prevent potential overloads. And our model has a key differentiator called the beta parameter, which sort of achieves it. Let's see how it was when it's executed.
Since we penalize the model from completely depleting the battery, we can take advantage of a huge spike in price and demand, as seen in the spike around the 4th of May.
So a key advantage of our model is that we use a straightforward optimization workflow by directly propagating loss from a differentiable loss function, and this allows us to easily add additional constraints we may impose on our model. For operating a real battery, we may have additional concerns that are not addressed in this competition. For instance, we might be particularly interested in conserving the overall battery life cycles, because battery longevity is not only an important part of our own cost and benefit analysis, but also a major challenge in transitioning to a low carbon economy.